Hello, welcome to another episode of Smack Talk, UFC 317, not far away. And we have Alex Volkanovski in what could be the world's biggest chair.
This is a big chair, just so everyone knows. A big chair, and even that football is actually bigger than normal size football. They stitched me up.
This is the first time I've seen it on the screen, man. You look tiny. First off,
I've got my backpack as well. I'll get my backpack and my pencil case.
The backpack's
give me the table.
Huge. The backpack's huge as well.
It is big, yeah. It does look bigger, man.
First off, let's talk. You're in the engaged gear. We're both in the engaged gear. It looks fantastic. But the watch on your wrist, talk us through it.
Hublot, yeah, that's it, mate. I don't mind wearing a nice watch. Check that out. Check that bad boy out.
What does that set you
So
back?
I'm actually, I'm partnered up with him as well. You know what I mean? So I think, I'm the first combat athlete, or would it be combat athlete? Well, definitely first UFC fighter or MMA fighter to be signed, partnered up with a luxury company watch.
How much would that cost you if you were to buy it?
Oh, there's a bit of money in it. I ain't here to brag, you know what I mean? It is a nice watch. Check it out. I've got a couple of them. It's nice.
It's a beautiful one. I'm not here to brag, but I got a couple of them. But I won't tell you the price of it.
Yeah.
Let's chat. Ilia Topuria, obviously fighting on the main event here, but Paddy Pimblett, he looks to be setting himself up. If Ilia wins this, he wants the next shot after Oliveira here. Do you think that's a smart move?
Well, I think it's a very strategic move from Ilia. I think that was quite clever. So he probably knows his chances of fighting Charles, if Charles wins, are pretty slim. He knows he's probably, if Charles wins, I'm fighting someone else before I get there, because, it's probably going to be Arman who will be fighting him the rematch. So that's probably what's going to happen. But if Ilia wins, they've got a story there. They've already had what they call it, I think the bottle. They had the plastic bottle thrown at each other. Yeah. And they've already had a lot happening. So there's a story there that can push. And then Paddy's a big star. Ilia and him, you know what I mean? It makes sense. UFC will probably put that on. So I think it's a strategic move from Paddy Pimblett. I thought that was quite clever.
How much of that stuff behind the scenes, throwing the bottle, all that stuff, do you see, how much of that is actually legit? Like we saw the McGregor and Khabib stuff, throwing the chair through the bus. Like that was legit. Yeah. Do you believe the stuff between them is just all theatrics to sell a potential fight?
Nah, look, I think that was obviously it definitely happened. There was definitely malice behind that ball being that bottle being thrown. You know what I mean? So there was definitely things that were said, and they didn't like each other. I don't think every single time they see each other they're going to be angry. They're probably over it, but they're probably going to still play into it. You know what I mean? There's a story there now that again Ilia's fighting for a title. It makes sense to sort of maybe keep stirring the pot, because, we'll add on to that story, and then just, you know what I mean? It's something that can definitely benefit Paddy. Why fight another fight if you can go straight to the title? So I think, again, strategic move, very clever.
It's beef, but it's not quite like you and Bilal type beef. Where that's
Mine and Bilal, I mean, you know what? I can't
believe what you were saying off camera, man. Let's stop.
It was weird because he lost. I ended up feeling bad after that, you know what I mean? Like, you should be like, yeah, it's not good. But I just wasn't like that. I was like, I sort of felt bad for him. Because, again, I've always said that he's had a bad run, Bilal, you know what I mean? Everyone's always into him. I don't think he's helped himself. But in saying that, you know what I mean, then I'll go there. I don't mind the guy. Like, you know what I mean? I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty chill. I give him the benefit of the doubt.
What about, back to you, man? You've had an unbelievable run. You got the keys to the city of Wollongong. You got a statue made for you in Wollongong that turned out to be fake. Who would have thought that was coming? But have you seen what Dana White has done?
What's Dana White?
Unbelievable, because obviously Vegas, you're heading back there. He's put on a special Sphere Volk version for you. Look what they've done to the Vegas Sphere.
Oh, how good. Mate, you know what?
That's real.
They should do that.
Yeah, I don't know,
You know what? I'm going to be in town there. I'm going to be watching the fights. I'll be there at the event. So looking forward to that. I'll be watching. I reckon they could definitely get my big dome on there. You know what I mean?
They could dress it up better than that.
You know what I did? I did a funny one with... oh, man, I'm having a brain fart.
Oh, come on.
Hey, do you know what the worst part? You're gonna be like, going, how the hell did you forget his name? Quarterback, Tom Brady. How bad's that? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, look, man, I come up here, early morning, come into Melbourne for you guys, and it's been a rough... No, look. So I did a Guess the Dome, we called it. Guess the Dome I did with him. So they had to guess the bald head. Yeah. So then it was funny because I had I ended up having mine. I had, I had Dana White's.
What about, speaking of rough people and rough cities, we spoke about Vegas. You're heading there again. You guys win fights, you party. Some of the guys party pre-fight. What's the craziest Vegas story you've come across in your time in the UFC? And you can redact names if you want.
Oh, man. I mean, we've got a couple. There's even a couple of stories, even with us that are right here. You got them laughing. It's like, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Nah, man, look, I've got yeah. What's a crazy one? Like, I mean, there's cool ones. There was one, I remember when we had to go. So we did I won't even say. I can't give too much. Even we're gonna know.
You can redact names.
Nah, but if even a lot of people are still gonna know. But anyway, we're in there for reasons. We end up going to a beach club. You know, I just woke up in my room. The person I was with woke up in the hallway in his undies. I think he got dragged from his undies twice. It was once. So then I actually thought he was dead. I remember having to go there and call I don't know, what do you call it?
The police.
Yeah, not the police, but the people.
Security.
Security. You call it something when you go there. Welfare check, right?
Welfare check.
Yeah, well, I had to do a welfare check. Yeah, you had to go there, and I'm like, man, I'm worried. I'm like, oh no, here I am. I took this guy. I've just like, ruined this bloke. You know what I mean? Go there, and then he was all right. He was safe. But that was a rough one. It was funny because all that happened within an hour.
Let's get into the fights. Darisuh and Moicano.
Yeah, so that's man, they were meant to fight, right? They were meant to fight, and then Islam opponent, or Harmon, that's who was meant to fight, and got injured. So Moicano moves in. Darisuh, misses out on an opponent, but now they've rescheduled it for now. So I was picking Moicano last time, and I'm going to pick him again. I think he's dangerous, and he's been on a tear. Besides the fight with Islam, and that's a big step up for him, and obviously short notice. That was always going to be tough for him. But you see he's quite dangerous on the ground and he's dangerous on the feet. Darisuh, very well-rounded, I think, and a really good dude, man. Solid dude. I hate betting against him because I really like him. But again, here I'm going to talk about the age factor, where I've proven age ain't a thing. But I'm going to go with Moicano. I just think he's a little bit more dangerous and he can fight the finish. But will not be surprised if Darisuh fights a perfect fight, sticks to a game plan and wins. Able to control him a little bit. So I can definitely see that, but I will go with Moicano.
I can't stop laughing at this chair, man. They've done you so dirty. They have done you so dirty on this chair.
They have, haven't they? I like it, you know what I mean? That's it.
You know what? The fact that you can kill anyone in this room at any given moment kind of makes it, it doesn't really matter.
I like how we're acting like they stitched me up. It's just a normal chair. That's just how I look, you know what I mean? But we'll play it off. They had actual cricket bat behind us. They decided to take it away.
No weapons around you.
I mean, it would have been good having it was like a small cricket bat, and it made me look like, that's the normal proportion that you should be going off. This is a fake chair, all right? Just remember that.
You see Jon Jones during the week announced his Mt Rushmore.
I haven't seen that.
He's gone out with Mighty Mouse, Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah, I like it.
Anderson Silva.
I like it.
Georges St. Pierre.
I like it.
And Jon Jones. He threw himself on, which I think is good. You've got to be smart with that. He's on the Mt Rushmore.
Yeah. That's.
What's yours? If you had to pick four right now, what are you going with?
I mean, that's hard to beat. That's hard, like, you know what I mean? I think, because I've always been a massive fan of Demetrius Johnson, what he's done, and him as a mixed martial artist, I think he's the best mixed martial artist we've ever seen, by far. But then you look at who you fought, and, obviously a lot of people are going to be, with the Jon Jones things, but then you look at his resume and what he's done, even at the age divisions, it's hard to beat. And then you've got the GOATs, like your George St. Pierre's and your Anderson Silvas. They're going to be hard to... Yeah, so that's fair. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm going to... you point at me. I'm like, I appreciate that, but I mean...
If not right now, which I think you can certainly make a strong case that you'd be on that right now, certainly if there's five, you're on that. What do you have to achieve from here to be on that? With no disrespect to the people that have been named on that list.
I don't know. Like, again, everyone's different, right? You've got some people that have more fights, but then you've got some guys that are fighting better competition and, like, you know what I mean? So there's so much that comes into play. I think when it's all said and done, you're just going to keep seeing that change because people are going to probably look more into it. Whereas, like, it's not just defenses. Back then, you could be ranked... See, I don't want to get into it because I don't want to be insulting, but I will say this though, even though the competition might not be the same, you got to remember if you've been a champion for 10 consecutive fights, to be on top for that long, so much things go wrong. Injuries, having a bad night, like, you know what I mean? You're getting caught, MMA gloves, like there's so much can go wrong in this crazy sport that we play. You could be someone... You could be so much better than someone and they could still win because you're having an off night, they catch you, anything like that. But to win that many times, you gotta always put them in that conversation. But then you need to respect the people that are fighting the best and the baddest, and taking risks. They might get some losses, but for them to take them on, beat some of the people they did, come back and beat people, you know what I mean? It's just that's saying something as well. So I think there's so much bigger than just. It's a very, very hard topic, and it always will be a tough topic.
You're a history buff though. Like on the topic of Mount Rushmore, you'd be able to name all 4 presidents on Mount Rushmore, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we'll get in.
Give it a crack.
I'm done.
Give me one. Give me one.
I don't think I know any of them.
They didn't look like that in real life. They looked more fleshy.
Wait.
Come on, man. How much time do you spend in America? They're not going to let you in if you don't get this wrong.
You're right. Like, I mean, I can't. I'm having.
Give us the far right. You know him.
Yeah, that's got to be. See, I'm having a brain fart. I know for sure what one of them is. I'm terrible with the names tonight.
Okay. It's Joe Biden on the left.
But whoa.
Come on.
Lincoln, all right.
That's it. That's it.
Far out. So I couldn't get the name. That's to the right?
What about?
They've done well.
Hey, there we go. You know what? I chucked this
AI President Volk. Is that what
I put this in ChatGPT to add your head to Mount Rushmore, and this is what it dished out. It's given you a hand with the shuckers, and it's chucked my name on the sunglasses. That's what it came up with.
You've definitely chucked that on.
I didn't chuck that at all. You know where I do my research for most things? It's ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's like ChatGPT.
My entire life
I think there would have been, ChatGPT. We did this the other day. I'm like trying to say, I hope no one ever asked me about it. I'm going to stuff that.
That's what it came up with.
But I reckon you've put in there, but just throw a little bit of Felix flavour in there, or something like that. They're good. They always are getting crazy.
It's not bad, man. It's coming, and we apologise to Thomas Jefferson as well for taking him out of Mount Rushmore for your
shuckers
and for your shuckers. But on this one, let's jump on to the next fight as well. The third fight on the main event card: Brandon Royval and Joshua Van. Joshua Van, up and coming prospect.
Yeah, he is, man. And coming off his last fights, I think he was even thrown in the deep end early and done well. Right, he's done really well and looked impressive. And then I feel like he's getting thrown in the deep end again with Royval. Royval is an incredible fighter, a big fan of his. I just feel like the trajectory of Van right now, I just feel like I think he's going to do it. By far, toughest test. It is a 3-rounder. We've got to remember that. So I think I might go with the prospect on this one. I mean, it's tough. Like, remember, I'm saying this just because I feel like, it's a big event. And I feel like he might add a bit to this big event. And I'm trying to throw in extra flavour on this big event that we got this one. So I'm going to go there. But Royval, I don't like betting against him because he's very, very tight. He's tough. I don't think you're going to finish him. And I believe that he will definitely make it a tough fight. But does Van do enough in them earlier rounds or something? You know what I mean? If it was a 5-round, I'm definitely going Royval. 3-rounder. I might go with Van.
It's the toughest fight on the card to pick. We're going to preview all the main event fights coming up after this one and a little more online stuff.
How we doing, lads?
Good, man.
Good. I'm glad I get to have a quick chat. I had my biggest fight in Perth over there. Maybe I can prep you for that fight over there in Perth.
How'd you go?
Well, look, I got robbed anyway, so that's not the point. Mitch Barnett's obviously injured. Who's stepping in for him?
I think Maxi King's starting at the moment, so...
I'm known for stepping in, short notice and that.
You
Gets
were a
injured.
front row as well, weren't you?
I was a front row, yeah. You can't tell.
I'd actually like to see off the kickoff, first kickoff in Origin back then.
But I mean, that's if the Queenslanders would even kick it to me. He's hearing me. I know Spencer's hearing me on that one. I've got to hear, mate. You wanted to have a bit of a career in the MMA world, I hear.
Tell us a few things about it.
Yeah, well, I haven't told you. I haven't told you.
But I mean...
so you're dribbling.
He's a winger. He's a winger. You've got to be like a front row or something like that. Could see you actually making a bit of a showing in the UFC in the octagon. We heard about the Vegas, in the elevator. The elevator's not too much smaller than the octagon. I think how'd that go anyway?
More WWE. He brings out bats and like Helen We'll get inflatable ones.
Who is the one player in the NRL you'd like to get an octagon with? And why is it Lockie Galvin? Is it because he backflipped on the heels? Or because of that shocking haircut?
It'd have to be the backflip, wouldn't it?
Yeah?
He's a good kid, I couldn't do it to him.
Well, he's got a shocking haircut. Got any questions for me?
How much money do you make after tax?
How? Oh, there we go.
Yes, sir. That's from the both of us. That was good.
How about I'm not going there. So what I'll say is, remember, defending champ, have won 8 titles. I should be getting more. I'll leave it at that.
Welcome back to Smack Talk UFC 317, not far away. Volk, we're going to break it all down. We're into the main event proper. Co-mains now. Pantoja versus Kai Kara France, your man. Going dead.
Yeah, Kai Kara France obviously gets another chance, another crack at the title. And I think he gets it done. You know, when people are going to say, I've got a bias. Yeah, they've actually already fought. They fought on the Ultimate Fighter House. Pantoja already has a win over him. But they're both completely different fighters, especially Kai Kara France, coming off a massive win, obviously, against Steve Ercik, fellow Australian. They were a tough one to watch, but obviously, again, Kai Kara France is my guy. So very, very happy to see him in form going into this one, because I think, that confidence knowing that he can finish anyone. Steve Ercik's tough, and for him to get a finish over him like that, I think that's going to build some confidence, and I think he can get the finish. If it goes to the ground, Pantoja takes his back. Kai's so good there. He's got that small stature like myself. We're hard to hold down, hard to, get your hooks in. We're very good at getting ourselves out of them positions. So I feel like even if Pantoja can get him there, I feel like, Kai Kara France finds his way out and can get a finish.
He's kind of like an honorary Aussie as well, Kai Kara France. I feel like any of these guys, I still consider them, even though we have a rivalry with New Zealand as an Australian, I still consider them Australian when they fight.
Exactly. So like this part of the world, I always say, they're from this part of the world, this side of the world, we got each other's Anzacs, you know what I mean? Like we stick together. So it has always been like that. We've always had each other's back. I feel like in MMA, UFC, there's no rivalry in UFC. I don't think we've ever had that. Even when Steve Ercik and Kai fought, there was no actual rivalry. It wasn't the clash like that. It was just two guys fighting, nothing but respect, fighting. That's how I feel. But every other sport, they go on at it. But I mean, so nothing but love when they're fighting. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to be over there this weekend, so I cannot wait to see it.
Toughest fights or toughest sports on earth will go. You'd have to say mixed martial arts number 1. I'd probably say boxing number 2, just based on the ground game. It's a little bit tougher in my opinion. You're probably going rugby number 3. Where do you put the new phenomenon that is taking social media by storm, Run It Straight?
Mate, this is number 1 to be honest. Look, I wouldn't do this. I mean, it's I've watched a few clips. I don't know how many of them they've done, but I've seen so many knockouts. Man, I don't know. I want to know the broken bones. I mean, it's
how are guys not breaking collarbones doing this?
Collarbones, ribs, sternums, chins, you name it, man. Like it's. Is it still going? Are they still going?
Yeah, they're still going.
It's crazy.
The actual
I'm scared. I'd be scared doing that for sure.
The actual event that they do is all like, I can't remember hearing about a broken collarbone or any of that sort of stuff. Like, it's pretty insane. Is it something that would you ever engage in any of those sort of ones?
Nah, I wouldn't do them. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to, stick and move and stuff like that. You're right. Like, like boxing 101 or even MMA, it's like hit and not be hit. That's the whole point. So, your power slaps and, a lot of that stuff. I'd rather,
is power slaps still?
Yeah, still going. Well, your bare knuckle and that.
Yeah.
I'd way rather that than a run it or a power slap, because there's nowhere, you can't hide. You've got to just run, and you have to take that full impact. Where, at least bare knuckle, you got a chance of not letting them hit you. You know what I mean? So I know it seems a lot more brutal, but that stuff is insane.
Would you ever bare knuckle? Because I feel like bare knuckle, in your position where you've made your money, you've had a whole lot of success, isn't as tempting as someone who's potentially on the fringes, and this is a way to get a bigger payday in an upcoming sort of sport.
I wouldn't do it purely, to be honest, because of people's views on it and how people would take it. Like, because but to be honest, it's like boxing in the MMA gloves, really. A lot of people are like, oh, bare knuckles. Like, I don't think people realise, even boxing gloves, like, what it does to the head is like, it's very similar.
Yeah.
It just obviously looks a lot worse and sounds a lot worse. And to be honest, all it does is bust your hands up a lot more, and you're going to get more cuts and that. So it's going to look worse in that sense. But I wouldn't do it purely because of how that is. And I'm lucky enough, I'm in a great position. I don't need to do that sort of stuff. And yeah, it's not a good look for my, soon to be 4 girls, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, Daddy, what are you doing? Yeah, bare knuckle fight. Yeah. So it's, probably not.
What about the main event? Topuria taking on Charles. This one, the vacant lightweight title. This was, in my opinion, one of the most looked forward to fights in a long time.
It is, man. It's a very fun fight. Like, you know it's going to be fireworks. I can't see this not being fireworks. It's just going to be interesting. I want to see how it goes. I'm actually picking Ilia Topuria. You know, he's moving up, fighting a dangerous opponent in Charles Oliveira, former champ.
You gave that a bit of twang there.
Yeah, Oliveira. You know what I mean? You see, yeah, exactly. I've got it. But you know, so I believe he can get it done. I just want to see how it is. Say with, you know, Ilia against myself or Max Holloway, he was very stoic in his approach. It's like, I need to go. I don't care if things aren't going my way. I need to just press until I find the chin. I don't know if he's going to do that with Charles. Or he's going to find it harder because he knows Charles, you know, can, you know, either wrap something up or, you know, he's very aggressive and looks for the knockout straight away as well. And I believe that Ilia can, you know, will think that he can, you know, out sort of even maneuver this guy and sort of strategize. And, you know, when it comes to game plan, you know, out strategize Oliveira. So I believe he's going to approach this a little bit different. I think he, you know, yeah, it's going to be a bit more strategy, I believe. And Oliveira is going to press forward. Ilia might have to be on the back foot a little bit. I want to see how he handles that. If he does, I feel like that might throw him off a little bit. I feel like that makes things a lot harder for him. But if he doesn't, I believe the chance of him knocking out Oliveira, if Oliveira is aggressive and he stands his ground, I think the chances of Ilia knocking him out are more higher than Oliveira knocking out Ilia. I truly do believe that. So I think I'm going to go with a finish. I think he's going to be forced to fight. And and Ilia will probably find the chin.
If Ilia loses this fight, and let's say loses it convincingly, first round, you never know. I don't expect that to happen. You don't expect that to happen. But if he does, is there a world where he comes back to featherweight, or this lightweight thing is as good as gone?
You'll have to see. You know what I mean? Again, he only wants big fights. And if he feels like he can still get a big fight at lightweight, maybe. But then he knows he could probably come back straight into a title fight. So I think he's going to think that's the biggest fight. And I think he might. I know he doesn't like the weight cut. I know he's talked about it. And then he said he's definitely sticking to lightweight. But with a loss, I think that, might throw
The biggest fight would be you.
Yeah,
on a loss, the biggest fight would
I think so as well. I think that's how he's going to look at it. You know, and I know that's what he's chasing, the big fights. But does he hate the featherweight weight cut so much that he just doesn't do it? Or is he really just be like, I don't care, I might not have got it now, I'll win the next fight and I'll get another shot at the lightweight title. We'll see. I don't know, but it will be tricky. I think there's a chance he might come back down.
Charles wins. Where do you think he goes from there?
Charles wins?
Yeah.
Was champion. So
that helps. He certainly can have the belt, but who's next in line there? Who does he take?
I mean, Arman's a backup fighter.
Yeah.
So and then Arman's got the win over him. You know what I mean? It's a very close fight. So that's a fight that they can make. Gaethje's really pushing for it. Another big fight.
I want to see Gaethje back, man. I mean, he's one of the most entertaining guys on the roster, man. I really want to see him back.
And he's coming off a win as well. His only loss was against Max Holloway, obviously. So it's a tricky one. Where does this put Max? You know what I mean? Like, so Max, because he's not far. He beat Gaethje, right? Yeah. So, and that was his last fight at lightweight.
Yeah.
So he was pretty much, you could say, number one contender, but then he lost to Ilia. If Ilia was to win...
There's no shame in losing to Ilia as well.
No, there's not. If Ilia wins, does Max rematch? Or do they do... I feel like that's a bigger fight than the Arman. But Arman is a backup. I don't know. I don't know what's going on next. So I couldn't tell you. With Charles, who's next? I couldn't tell you. Because there's a lot of history with Max Holloway with Charles Oliveira. Max has got a win over him. You know what I mean? So... And
Max is a huge draw no matter what as well. Like if they're looking to make fights, Max is a money fight no matter what.
Oh yeah, well he's fighting Dustin, sorry. Yeah, so if he beats Dustin, and so no, I think he's next, definitely next. So there, I completely forgot about that. He's not waiting around to see what happens. He's fighting soon for the BMF. He beats Dustin. I think he's next. So it's very interesting to see what happens. All big fights. That's why does Ilia stay, because there's so many big fights. Even a rematch with Max would still be big. Imagine a Gaethje fight. Like, you know what I mean? Like
there's a lot of tantalising, for lack of better terms, fights on the cards across divisions. I think the UFC's in a really, really healthy spot at the moment. That's all we've got time for here. Yep. That's the UFC 317 preview. It's going to be a massive weekend. Good luck in Vegas. Thanks for tuning in. You find all of Volk's bets on the Sportsbet feed as well. It's all happening. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, great show.
That's a wrap.
Have you seen the Jon Jones thing? where the guy puts his hand out and Jon Jones puts his eyes, like you close your eyes and you got to go under it as many times as possible. Apparently it's like a boxing reaction thing, but Jones got more than like Ryan Garcia and all these boxers. Do it. So you
just got to slip.
Yeah, so I'll go up.
Are you going to be following the punch or you just keep
No. So I keep my arms straight and you close your eyes.
And I just got to go
and you got to go with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
And 40 is the most that they've got. So go.
You're going to just start and go side to side.
No. I'll keep it. So keep it there. Move in here. And so go under it. Do it with your eyes open. Go under.
Okay, yeah.
So go under like that.
Wait, let me get here.
Yeah. Side to side.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And now close your eyes and do it.
Okay.
And now you got to get 40 of them. So count it out.
You're going to hit me for sure. I'm just waiting for you to tap me on the head. What was the record? I'm smashing this one.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.